Mhm. I think it's last page 13, last paragraph, if we finish it. And cannot be found of the any warriors ordered away by the powerful, paid of the by the rich, in order to escape from the impermanence. And that is like a kind of the really the telling to the situations. And also it's like next page, first paragraph is saying the death lives nowhere to run to, no place to hide, no refuge, no defender or the guide. Death resists any recourse to the skill or the compassion. And of course, sometimes may we think we can to run for the impermanent. And there is someone say, I don't want to concern about the impermanent. And also, I'm not afraid for the impermanent. But when is the impermanent occur to me, I want to be there. So I wouldn't to be there. So. And of course, we don't need to learn. We don't want to study here about the impermanent. But then when they arrive, it is difficult to run away from this situation. And also it's very difficult to hide for the impermanent situations. And that moment where we can to take in refuge, which kind of to make in the refuge or to protect to us in order to dispel the process of the impermanent. Very, very difficult. And we can to say it's like how many sentient beings to passed away. And all of them are not happy for the death process. Maybe someone's believe very much God. Someone's believe the Buddha and Bodhisattvas. But how they can to stop their death process? Almost it is nobody's. Sometimes we say, oh, this time I was very much strong sick. And some luckily my sickness disappeared. Maybe God, maybe Buddha, maybe deity, maybe something. Maybe it's like kind of it's your deity of the positive. Maybe you create some positive, generated bodhicitta, and did some positive things. This one dispelled your sickness. This one is like stop to the maybe some death process. But others, it's very difficult. In this world, who is, it is like who is the death stopped by the God of Buddha? If someone says has such faith, devotion, totally rely on the Buddha and gods or someone, and this person is not died, still there, or this person is, we don't know how many old age. And if there's something existence, then of course we can to take refuge in some place. But this is Buddha, he said, I cannot do it. If I have this power, I can to make deathless all the sentient beings right now. To make the deathless, making freedom from the death process is our own self, each individual. And that is the most, then it's like kind of the source of the refuge is ourself. And we say it's relatively I'm taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. But ultimately, I'm taking refuge in my own Buddha nature, my own potential of the nature realities. And that is the correct. And also it's like who can to at that moment guide. And it's only we need to guide our own knowledge, our own realization, our own positive. Who can to guide? Maybe even the like death process, someone's come to guide to us. Maybe difficult to believe. You know, there is one is like a person. He lost his way, but he made one yeti or the one monkey. They have very good friend. And this monk is bring to one like this path, like kind of showing that you take this path. But it looks like this path is not very nice. And he doesn't want this passenger. But finally, it's this monkey is a little angry to beat at him, to say it's like what he showing this path. And he cannot choose, and he took this path, but finally that was is like correct path. Like this, someone can give to us conditions, Buddha, Bodhisattvas, to showing right path or wrong path. But reality is, and we need to follow up correct path ourselves. It is the very important. And it's ourselves is the guide us. And of course there is someone's to resist it, to stop the like death process. And skillfully, who can do it? Maybe do it once, or do it truth, 100 times. But any time it's like all the time death process start. Okay, this time stopped. Next time stopped. Next time stopped. And it's like it's boring all the times like this. Who can to stop the death process? Our own individual, ourselves. Strength, realization, practice the Dharma. And also like compassion. Even the skillful person, compassionate others, how they can make the freedom from our death and the impermanent. It is very, very difficult. Once our life has run out, even the Buddha medicine Buddhas himself, way to appear in the person he would be unable to delay our death. And it's like it's even the Buddha medicine come, someone's death process started. And Buddha medicine is like there's a little bit making to delight. Maybe that is very strange, it's very difficult. And one is the exhausted our like body, speech, mind in this life. And then there is the automatically disintegrate. When we look at some plant, some in the age, some is a month, this plant is and going to die like kind of the exhausted. Maybe leaves, flowers are falling down. And it's like kind of the going to, it's finished. At that moment, who can to help? After the mother we can put water or protect, it is exhaust-based itself. It's impossible. Like this Buddha medicines, when is our death process start? Even the Buddha medicines to appear the front of ours. How this person can to stop in the death process. And therefore it is very important to concern this kind of situation. Then what we need to do, so reflect sincerely and meditate on how important it is from this very moment onward, never to slip into the laziness. And to analyze right now cannot to make the, it is like postponed and to be the laziness. Because this present current, our body, speech, mind, it is in the, to be the current situation, but it is impermanent. How itself is like become the coffee someone's take, or the payment, in the I'm sleepy. And can you wake up me? Can you argue with me a little bit? And be happy? Yes?
Rinpoche, it's not really arguing, but I've seen that in English and version and French version, there are difference. There are difference when they spoke about the meditative concentration. When in the English is one, and then in the French is second meditation, and each time is different. And then how we need to follow, because if we study,
you are only to follow the word, yes?
Not only, but if I study English, I will say.
But
if I
English
study in French,
vocabulary is inconceivable, and that we need to the meaning of the meditative concentration. Okay, then it's enough. What they call. Even yourself, how many you have name?
Many.
And someone says, I want to learn your name. Don't tell me many names. Doesn't matter. It's someone's to know you, and then you call to the different name, but doesn't matter. Like this, maybe it's to learn one vocabulary, then it's maybe important is the meaning, okay?
Okay.
Of course, it's like also the word, you are correct, but I have this also myself, is problems. For example, one things in the English vocabulary, you have so many synonyms. And then each synonyms you used, a little bit showing the different aspect of meaning. Then it's confused. But meditative concentration, or like kind of the concentration means it's like focus on meditation. And it's like only like think single object, this kind of. And a little bit word is different, it's okay.
But here is the level. In one book he said that at that moment is this level disappear, and then in English
Which, for example, which contact, which term? Meditative concentration is talking about dhyanas?
No, first in the page 3, for example. And I saw that it's happened after in other contexts.
He is not talking about the meditation, but they call the different first meditative concentration, second meditative concentration, third meditative concentration. Yes.
Yes, but it doesn't. The French translation and English doesn't agree to each other.
Why?
Each term is different.
Why?
Because in the book on the page 3, they said is the
first meditative concentration.
Yes, and then in French is the second, and each term is different. After they spoke in the English one, the second, and in the third, and in French is second. Each term is different in number.
What do you mean is second, first? Maybe this number is wrong, yes?
Yes, it's not concordance. In the English version and the French version, it's not the same.
What is the difference? You mean it's a...
For
level or the meditative concentration. You look the way. Meditative concentration is called the 4 dhyana levels, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like a
Like, for example, in the page 3 Rinpoche, they said the last paragraph, the beings inhabiting each realms below the God realms of the first meditation states. And then in French, is said the second meditation states.
then this is you can to look the obvious. Maybe it's they made mistake.
But then which one is mistake? Is the French one?
I think it's English. No, this is French.
French. Okay.
And this maybe you can to talk. It's like the two Lopans, how it is English and the Tibetan corresponding. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and like in Tibet, it's like this says the first, second, and then is according that they translated English into, and then English correct, and then it's like maybe it's English is Tibetan is not doesn't corresponding, maybe also French is correct. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like you can to look which page number can you
For
look?
example, the first is on page 3.
Maybe my page is your page is different, and your page is which page?
Page 3.
Okay, page 3. Which paragraph?
The last one.
And
In French is the second concentration who disappear, and in English is the first one, and then later on is the same.
Okay, this is like the English is correct. Okay,
Okay, la.
the beings inhabit each realms, yes?
Yes.
Below the God realm of the first meditative state world.
Mm-hmm.
This is in Tibet is the first.
First. Okay.
Something Tombo is first. In French is wrong.
Okay, la.
It's a good. This is you find nice. And others?
After I didn't keep the but it's happened again in the book.
And the French is who translated?
I don't know.
Huh? Both is come from Pemakara, yes? Okay, then this is the wrong. Is if you say first, the reading glove. Not you know na ranchi toni something tombore de unkutur. Ngole French is deuxième, yes?
Yes.
It's wrong. Okay. Very good. It's And other questions do you have?
Yeah, I forgot 2 marks, but I've seen others different.
Okay, this is a good question, and to find like this is wonderful. Okay, other? Do you have? Can you argue with me? Yes. Clarify. What do you mean? Which meaning? Meaning which meaning? Which word? And okay, what is your questions?
Yes, the question is related to the last 2 things that you were saying before the questions. So we should not waste time, right? We should not waste time because the life is impermanent.
It is truth or not? What do you think?
No, it is true. Yes.
Okay.
But it's a negative statement. Don't lose time. You know, like it's like bad. Don't lose time. It's caring. It's frightening. How can we formulate it in a positive statement? How can we? What should we do then? Like.
And that is telling to the right now, to confess. And what we have, the negative things is purified. Negative hasn't got any quality, but there's one quality we can confess, we can to purify it. Like for example, if you have water, okay, dirty water, impossible to drink, polluted. You are scaring. But this polluted, dirty water is not forever. You can to try to maybe filter. You put in the filter, and after is the water you can to drink. Therefore, this nature is any kind of nature. Negative also has a nature. This nature is not negative. You can to filter, you can to purify it, and then is finished. That is we announce to hurry up. What you done in the negative, maybe in this life, on the past, very heavy back there is, but you can to purify it. Therefore, meditation, recitation, and also reflect on is like thing, degenerate bodhicitta, develop your this wisdoms. Everything is purification of your negative depths. Like same as the sickness, okay? Sickness, believe or not. For example, if you eat something negative things, maybe poison, food poison, water poison, any poison, you got it. Oh, now maybe I'm sick. What can I do? Then you need to go to the doctor, and doctor give you medicine to purify it, to kill this original. It can purify it. You can to recover to this from this poisons. And this poison has nothing good quality, but one good quality. We can take medicine. We can to purify it. We can to kill it itself. And that is the qualities. That is any negative, positive, they have the nature realities. We can to purify it. Okay, that is very important to concern good questions. It is like many people sometimes, even though you go to in Tibet, some people says, "Oh, I'm a criminal. Oh, I'm evil. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm already you're going to hell." This is like kind of we making ourselves. Of course, you've done some negative things, but you continue to negative things, worse and worse. One day you go to direct in the Vajja hell and the hell. Vajja hell is maybe not existent, okay? But look in some human existence. Even in the human existence, there is Vajja hell. Someone sick, no food, prisoner, like a punishment, tortured. And in this situation, it's a hell. They cannot die, and they cannot difficult to survive. Day and night, life is miserable. And if you have this kind of situations, worse and worse, you done yourself and this cause, then what is like kind of you? You know, I met one person, he's killed 4th or 5th times woman. He's a girlfriend or the wife. And then finally, he's a forever prisoner. And then he was many years, 20 years maybe. And then slowly, and then he realized, it's what I done, man. Then one police says, you made yourself. Why you do this kind of such negative things? And your life is you ruin out, you do more worse things, then we are more worse. Your prisoner is more strong, you suffer, you need to stay. Then he said, that is truth. It completely changed. And completely changed. Once I met, he says, I saw in the Holy Dalai Lama in the TV, I want to become Buddhist. Okay. And then he's changed. 1 year after he can go out. And like this, confess and to change. And like then he can to make himself is to good life. Also we can to make worse. Like this is someone's done negative, more than then it's like I'm almost forever receive sufferings. Not very good, but what can we do? And someone's done negative things, immediately confess to purify it, then there's no longer more the sufferings. That is obvious. And then second, your question?
Yes, there are so many, the example with the doctor, there are so many possible cures, right? So what to choose? How to choose?
Generate bodhicitta. Practice compassion. You mean purified, yes? Okay. Best is to generate bodhicitta. Practice bodhicitta. Study bodhicitta. To be kind. help sentient beings, even the insect who is close to you, and to be kind. Your parents, brothers, sisters, boyfriends, whatever you have closer to be, any persons to smile. You know, the compassion attitude, compassion activity is the sixth transcendent. You never heard that. Okay, six transcendents, and there's six actions. To be generosities. Generosity means through the body. How you can to be generosities? Kind. Wonderful. And generosity verb, to say is sweet word, not harsh word. If you give harsh word, it's unpleasant. And give nice, never liar, never kind of give harsh word, never kind of the gossip, other things. Wonderful. This is also generosity. Mentally, you can to say, whoever to see, may this person, this being, this insect, they become quickly free from the sufferings. It's generosity. And to concern, and also disciplines it. Not to killing, not harming to other. Keep self-discipline. Wonderful. Do not stolen things. Wonderful. Belonging any kind of others. Never touch. You are become automatically authentic person, noble person. If you are like this, immediately we are taking to refuge into you. If there's 10 negative action, 10 positive actions, to learn that there are the not kind of strange rule. It is realities. It's necessary. 3 is relate to body, 3 relate to the verb, 4 relate to the verb, 3 relate to the mind, and this 10, what is the 10 negative? Quickly to memorize. And then you can to keep them. Then is your life. So wonderful. Then is on the Dharma. That is the purification.
Thank you.
Okay? Good question. Wonderful. Thanks. And others?
Rinpoche, 20 years ago in Luxembourg, I already asked you, what can ignorant people do if they don't know? Because you are telling us to do like this and this. If we are sick and we go to a doctor, then we go perhaps to many doctors, and every doctor is telling something else. Our European culture is telling us completely else things than written in this book. So now the French translation is other than the English. I don't speak Tibetan.
Yes.
So
I
what
don't speak
can we
Luxembourg.
do? What can we do?
Learn. Study. Mm-hmm.
So what can ignorant people do? That's my question. Ignorant about Buddhism, about Buddha nature, about Mount Meru, about cosmos, about 3,000 billion universes. What can they do?
Then what they want. Whatever they want. I don't know really what they want. What do you think? What would you like to suggestion to the European people? I don't know.
Yesterday you went to vote for European Parliament.
Oh,
so
yes. What, then the problems? Yes? Problems?
at least 20 years you are in Europe.
Then?
Yes. I
What?
was perhaps 1 month in Tibet, not more than that.
I don't know what is the
In my
question. Okay, the Sonia. Yesterday I went to in the parliament. I just pushed the finger. But finally there is a result or something is good. They said it's good. Sawa, Messi, said they.
You wrote for the French community, I suppose.
Montemurro I choose.
Then it's okay, Rinpoche.
Mm.
There you are expert.
Okay, like this. And other, do you have any questions? Yes, la. Mm-hmm.
You will be mentioned confess. How do you confess?
Uh-huh. I mean, it's confess. It's like there's a in the Buddhist perspective. Maybe it's like directed you done something negative things, indirect done some negative things, and like kind of the what you do the positive things to dedicate it, and to like kind of the confess to says okay, very sorry for the sentient beings perspective, and like this is like a kind of through the mentally is a kind of purification, and also it's like generate compassion. Yes, I did some negative. I hurted some sentient beings. Maybe it's like direct or indirected, and you just sending sorry and to send to the your virtue. This is purification.
So you say to yourself.
Yes.
Okay, because in Europe or in other religions, you
Yeah.
say that.
Okay, this is also be in the Buddhist perspective, like you be in the front of the Vajrasattva and the Buddhas, and then you can say confess. This a little bit similarity. There's a different. For it's a really automatically, you sincerely, honestly to yourself and to generate bodhicitta and dedicate the virtue. That's the best. Yeah. Others is like this. Yes. Okay. Others, do you have any? Yes.
Are there things, negative things, that cannot be purified through confession?
You mean some negatives?
Yes.
They're difficult to purify.
Yes.
No existence. Any kind of negatives can purify it. For example, this is example, okay, look. It's any kind of polluted things can be purified. That is the point. And also it's negative. The essence of the negative, it is not negative. And we're talking about the permeation of the true nature of the reality. In the Buddhist perspective, we're talking about the true nature of the things. Each phenomenon itself has the negative. Negative say is the nature. And according to these natures, you can do whatever you want. And to purify. There's no existences like some negative things cannot to purify it, no existence. That is in the quotation many says, negative things are no quality, but the one quality is, of course, we can to purify it. And that is also the true nature of the realities. As I said, it's like dirty water, like any kind of polluted things. The nature of the things cannot become the polluted. There's some expression is the kind of the polluted, unpolluted, dirty, undirty, samsara, nirvana, negative. It's reality. I says this morning, I think it was questions. It is like this consciousness, this mind, the principal mind. Sometimes in the mind looks like very much polluted, negative, full of the disattachment, full of the anger, hatred, and like that moment, my mind is completely negative. How I can to make this one positive? This is not fixated. Principal mind is not like this. Certainly to change, and then it's like this negative mind is gone. Have compassion, delightful, nice. That my mind looks like a Buddha. This kind of alternate, but this principle, the nature mind, is not fixated. absolutely there's like kind of negative or positive. It is the universe, this nature realities like this. And this perspective, we are like kind of to purify the negative things, to extend the like positive aspect. And the one day is like, I'm often to say, is positive is extended forever. And that is called the enlightenment. And like this, for example, in some human beings, someone's really this kind of existence. Someone's never angry, never aggressive, all the time smiley, kindness. And this person's mind is all the time is happy. Difficult to find this person's like negative things. Wonderful. This kind of our mind is become wherever we be in the samsara or nirvana or dirty or undirty, mind is all the time happy. That mind we needed. Of course, some is a person has all the times aggressive, unkindness, unpleasant, but also this person's like a relative like this. But if change is change, absolutely. But it's like if you don't change, then there is something all the time is like this. There's not fixated this kind of like you can to change what you want. We want to change into the positive things. Like this. Okay, and do you have other questions? I need to stop 4:30 or 5. It's now, yes? Almost at 5 minutes, yes. Allah, okay, one questions, yes. Okay. Polish.
Rinpoche,
Dzień dobry.
dzień dobry. Once you mentioned that one of the best ways of cultivating or practicing compassion is to see other beings as enlightened beings, as Buddhas. And then in the other parts of the teachings it is said to be aware of the suffering of other beings. And I'm wondering how to practice those two together.
Let's combine, it's very easy. If you see the other sentient beings' sufferings, you constantly that, how I can to purify it, how to dispel to these sufferings, then you are developing your compassion inside. Or I want to study Dharma, want to be quickly to be enlightenment in order to help this. This is development, compassion. Then you constantly more sentient beings, you are more developing your compassion. If you more constantly the sentient beings' sufferings, then inner your compassions more and more strong. But just to constantly the sentient beings suffering, oh pity, they are suffering. Wow, it's not like this. You constantly more the sentient beings' sufferings, then you want to, to destroy it. You make like freedom. That is therefore we are studying Dharma, yes? Then is you are developing compassion. Your like compassion's more stronger and stronger. This is the like best filter into our mind in order to making the polluted mind water. Okay,
I'm just wondering because then how to fit into this.
How to fit? What do you mean?
Seeing beings as enlightened beings, which means like the beings free from suffering, how those two are
for example,
functioning together.
You can to practice pure something. Okay, all those sentient beings is as the sentient Buddha and Buddhist have us. If you consider it like this, it's kind of the antidote for your dualistic mind. And also you are direct purified through your mind, the power and strength of your mind. You are not thinking about they are dirty or the ugly or the suffering. Everything is like a pure and like a kind of transformed and into the pure things. This is for the antidote. It's like for your dualistic mind. If you are purified dualistic mind, maybe your perception is also purified. Because it's like, when you have one film projector, okay? When you project it on the walls, very dirty pictures coming. And you want to clean there or you want to clean in the machine? Yeah, exactly. You clean the machine inside to organize this project nice. Then this project is in the pictures, wonderful, it's coming. Like this appearances, everything's projected by the maybe your mind. Maybe when we perceive something dirty, suffering, sentient beings, probably maybe it's not. Asamgas, there's one Buddhist master's his story. He saw the Buddha Muti and the first sickness dog. He just perceived, but certainly his compassion purified the sick dog. Is become the Buddha Muti. Maybe that is one point. If you like think the compassion perspective concerning the sentient beings' sufferings, I need to do something. And that is such a kind of generating your compassions. And it's like, I need to do something now. I'm not much taking care myself. I need to do that. This is like you making strength your mind. You make powerful your mind. And these thoughts, this attitude, this idea, intentions, you're making your mind more large, and also it is an antidote for your self-order intent. Normally, I all the times, I need happy, it's like this. This is constant all the time, it's never succeeded. And a little bit lesser ego clingings concerning the other sentient beings, lesser ego cling, and then it's lesser mind clearly. Mind become the more wonderful, and also such the benefit. You concerning sentient beings' sufferings more, you want to dispel, you want to purify it, and then it's whoever you see, your enemy, your family, your friend, insect, any others, you impartially, equally to look at them, then your compassion's there. And they also automatically want to take refuge in you. How much your attitude, energy is going out. Wonderful. Steam of your compassion attitude. The energy of your compassion attitude is coming out. Such benefit. Okay la. So namdaya tamche zubanya. Tomni padana pa. Ye ganan chi wallam trupaya. Sapan solin dro gondro sho. Shoncha sencho ramboche.